This.
I smell fear today.
Why?
You smell fear.
I smell fear.
Why?
Just because of that fear only, someone is not ready to take part in a quiz competition.
Says who?
Yeah.
Who has said
I
that?
smell fear.
Yeah. I
Shivam,
agree.
Shivam, you do too? Huh?
Shivam doesn't know the background to it.
Yeah. I smell fear.
Are you sure? Because in Delhi you get a lot of fears.
Coming just
Like
from the
like,
person who is sitting to the left of me.
Like Delhi, no. First you have accused Delhi of something. You are in between two Delhi people.
I know.
You need to clear this out.
See,
first.
there.
Or else.
Or else you will know one of the fear. Otherwise, you will know one of the fear.
Look, I'm anyway surrounded by 3 Delhi guys. One is not in. But then this. Anyway, I was always surrounded by
Mudit
Delhi
is not in
people.
today.
Mudit is not in. Mohit is busy somewhere else.
Okay.
Harshit is coming tomorrow. So the triplets have got a lot of things.
Gangahar, Shaktiman and?
Pandit Vidyadhar, Gangadhar, Omkarnath, Shastri.
And those Nirma ladies, what was that?
Rekha,
Sushma.
Jaya, Sushma. Yeah, so.
Sabki pasand.
Nirma.
See, Rekha is here, Jaya is here, Sushma is off. So that is why.
But you can't change the topic like
Yeah.
this. I smell fear.
No, and you smell fear, and after that, why is Delhi not safe?
You smell pollution in Delhi. Okay, today it's luckily an off day. Your AQI is 45-50. That's great. But that's gonna change in 2 months' time.
Yeah,
Okay.
man.
You smell the nalas that are totally out in the open display in Delhi. In any part of Delhi you go to. Number 3, you can smell fear.
Yeah, from
in
you.
Delhi. In Delhi, not from
No,
me.
from you.
See, I'm a Delhiite now. For 11 years
Noida
I've
side, I
been.
can
No,
smell
but a
fear.
Delhiite is somebody who's born and brought up in Delhi. Not somebody who's been changed in 11 years or 12
Dekh
years.
lenge. The attitude is,
That
we'll
is-
see.
You
That is
Gulati are
insane.
born and brought up in Delhi only.
Hanji.
You've
Yes.
never stayed out of Delhi.
No.
Not even for a year.
I have for a while, but I've been there with my family.
It's just in the catchment area of Delhi. He went to IIM Rohtak. That's it.
Okay,
that's
so
the
that was
catchment
the
area.
furthest trip gone
Yeah,
from
yeah.
Delhi.
Yeah, so
For a while.
Okay,
That's
so
near
look,
on the same here.
see, fear and all, that is all fear psychosis you build up. No, you Delhi people. That's the thing. So, look, at this point in time, I am
And
surrounded.
we are also talking about one Delhi wala only today.
Who is
Yes.
fearless?
Yeah, who is fearless?
fearless?
Exactly.
Yeah.
He was called Gabbar.
Gabbar.
Yeah.
He was called the One. And he had a classic celebration this way.
Or initially it was this.
Huh.
Then it changed to this.
We are talking about Shikhar.
Shikipa.
Shikhar Dhawan. I mean, if you look at it, Shikhar Dhawan yesterday had announced his retirement from all forms of cricket.
Yeah.
It is a career that I look back at, okay, maybe you should never lose hope after a setback.
After
Because-
any setback.
Yeah, I mean, we are going to discuss his off-field problems. That itself is another gut-wrenching tale, which we can devote some other time.
But when we talk about his whole career, I think outside factors also we should talk, because when we talk about the game, we talk about what has the player done off the field also. So I feel as a whole also, when player is internationally playing, then everyone sort of keeps an eye, sort of talks about that, sort of tries to draw hypothesis with it, that how could have things that happened off the field impacted the performance on the
then
field.
there is a problem, because if I go on to discuss the off-field things, I will forget my journalistic instincts. I will only take over father thing at this point, because I've seen his posts for Zorawar and really, really pains my heart, because a father being separated from his kin, it's a painful ordeal indeed. This is why I don't want to focus on it that much. Very small
Because
part.
you have an emotional touch there.
And obviously,
course,
there are a couple of detailed videos on how, his off the field issue took place and what are the things that he had to go through. I would really recommend you to watch them, because you'll actually get to know the complete gist of it.
No, are they on our channel, right?
Yeah, I mean,
much.
some are there in our channel. You can check that out. But then, In a 14-year career, I would like to say, because until you don't retire, you still play. So Dhoni had a 16-year career because he announced his retirement in 2020. He didn't play for 1 year, but then
And he began his career with
2004
against Australia.
no, Bangladesh. No?
Even Shikhar Dhawan started
Shikhar Dhawan also. I thought
against
it was
Australia.
yeah.
No, against Australia.
Yeah.
And I had
Clint
Mohan-
Mackay.
Clint Mackay got a
First ball, and then that game never
I
happened.
can't remember the venue, but it was the same game where Kohli scored 100.
No. You're saying no. You are saying his first ODI you're talking about.
Yeah.
No,
No,
against
Kohli didn't score.
no.
100
That game got washed out. It rained. As soon as he got out, he was the only wicket to fall that day, and it rained after that.
Okay.
Yeah,
Fine.
So Shikhar ji, yes, if
But
we have
Kohli scored 100 in the same series, if I'm not.
That I'm not sure about.
Vizag,
Yeah,
if you're
Vizag.
talking about
That I'm
2010.
not sure
Yeah,
about.
yeah.
But Shikhar Dhawan in that game, then he did not.
Yeah.
Okay, fine.
So, if you look at Shikhar Dhawan's 14-year career, can you have a look at that Dhawan overall career, Shiv, and we'll show it to all our fans who are joining us at this point. Okay, in a 14-year career,
More than 260 odd international matches, which accounts for 269 matches, over 10,000 runs, 24 centuries, with 17 coming in one days and 7 in test matches.
yeah, he didn't score 100 in T20Is.
No.
Then, if you look at it, average all in the low 40s.
Yeah.
But as an opener, man, what a performance that he's had. So, Shikhar Dhawan's career, if you look at it, test matches average of 41. He scored more hundreds
Not
than
bad
50s.
actually. Yeah.
ODIs, if you look at it, fantastic. He was, I think, part of that core team which ensured India were dominant from 2013 to 19. T20Is very surprisingly had scored the most runs in a calendar year in 2018.
Yes.
But then was criticized for slow batting and strike rate of 126.
Isn't that the thing with the people whom we from the outside, when they sort of start their careers, we think that this player, the most impact he will leave on would be T20Is, and that's not the case. Be it Shikhar Dhawan or Rishabh Pant for that matter also.
Yeah,
Even
that-
Shikhar Dhawan, to begin with, the kind of debut he had in Test cricket, you always would have thought that this is T20 is one format, he would always dominate. Same thing was with Rishabh Pant.
Same with Sehwag.
Same with Sehwag for that matter. But all three of them never had that sort of an impact in T20s, but they had that sort of mindset in other formats.
Okay, so we'll just devote some time on this. Short, Gulati, you can start.
Hanji.
Tests, ODIs, T20Is, the numbers are right in front of you. What do you think? How will you sum up Dhawan's career? Because the topic of our dugout is, did he underwhelm or were his achievements significant? Because Dhawan's career is somewhat you'll always have mixed opinions upon it. What do you think?
True.
Tests, ODIs, T20Is in an entire nutshell, if you have to look at it, what do you think about Dhawan's career considering these numbers?
I think to begin with, first of all, I think it wouldn't be unfair to say, or maybe it would be fair to say that he is a modern day ODI great for Indian cricket, and not just for, I would say, Indian cricket, but overall also I think one of the modern day ODI greats across the globe, because of the impact that he had in the important series or the tournaments that he featured in for India. So whether it was the 2015 World Cup or the 2019 World Cup, which was obviously cut short because of the thumb injury, I think the impact was there in the two Champions trophies also. So just from that perspective, a great ODI career, to be very honest. Towards the end, it didn't really help his cause because he wasn't a part of the other two formats, wasn't really playing too much of domestic cricket. So that didn't really help him because obviously the reflexes had gotten slow. He was getting very limited time to play, and that's where I think Shubman Gill got the nod ahead of him.
Plus Yashasvi Jaiswal.
Plus Yashasvi Jaiswal also was coming into the picture. So Dhawan, to be very honest, in ODIs didn't do anything particularly wrong except from the last series against Bangladesh, in which he got out for 3 single-digit scores. That was his last appearance for India in the ODIs also, in fact across formats. But overall, I think a great ODI career. But when I look at the test matches, tests and T20s, I think a very underwhelming career, to be very honest. A beast in subcontinent conditions in test matches, scored I think almost all his hundreds in subcontinent only.
No, he scored
West
one in
Indies.
New Zealand.
New Zealand. couple came in Sri Lanka, and most of them I think came in the Indian conditions only. And in Test cricket, he was given a lease of life a couple of times. He was dropped once, then brought back for the Sri Lanka series in 2017.
But the England series I think was the last of it.
Yeah, and even
18, that was his last series.
Yeah, when Murli Vijay, Shikhar Dhawan, all of them were snubbed from the Test.
Correct. In 2018, basically, 2017 for that Sri Lanka series, he wasn't even a first choice opener. There was Abhinav Mukund, then you had Murli Vijay. Almost all of them got injured, and then he had gotten his chance once again. So a very underwhelming Test career, to be very honest. But he was given a long rope, be it in the Australian conditions or the England conditions. Also, he was persisted with, didn't really get those runs. In T20Is also, see, numbers can be deceiving. An average of 28 is pretty good in T20Is, and strike rate as far as now T20s is concerned, 126 isn't that effective. But overall, if we look at Dhawan's T20I career, I think it wasn't even that. I would say it wasn't even good, to be honest, because twice in 2 T20I World Cups he was dropped midway through the tournament. In 2014, he was dropped for Ajinkya Rahane because Dhawan wasn't getting those big runs or the fast runs, I would say.
2016 also for Ajinkya Rahane.
Yeah, 2016 once again for Ajinkya Rahane. So I think, as I think Siddharth rightly mentioned, in ODIs, no doubt, overall, if we have to see a very mixed career or a career that garners mixed reactions.
That could have promised a lot more.
True, but ODIs, I think, a great career, but overall in the other two formats, very underwhelming.
Or what do you
See, for me personally, I am not somebody who looks into the numbers a lot, and I don't sort of trust in the numbers. Also, I sort of go more by the impact. But being a Delhiite myself, and the first memory I have of Shikhar Dhawan is coincidentally where I used to live. Shikhar Dhawan was sort of just a neighbor to me. He lived very close to my place. And I still remember being very young because even I used to play. So when we used to play under 14s, then Shikhar Dhawan was sort of that person to look up to in Delhi cricket, because till then he had those many runs in domestic cricket. You knew there were talks about him sort of nearing that Indian team also. So he was somebody all young Delhi cricketers looked up to him. Then he played in 2010, his first ODI when he made his debut, and then after that for a very long time he was not to be seen anywhere around that Indian team. I still remember I had a few friends, we used to go to his house and he was never there. His parents used to be there because he was traveling, and we used to go there and ask them every day ki aaj Shikhar bhai aaye, because we had seen him that he had played for India, so we always wanted to sort of meet him, because he would never be there.
Correct.
Once or twice maybe we would have gotten a glimpse of him when he was in town, so we sort of used to ask him ki India ki jersey hame bhi de do, India ki jersey hame bhi de do. So that is sort of the time where we sort of knew Shikhar Dhawan. Cut to being coming in the Test cricket, and I still remember closing in on that 200 on day 3. I think it was day 3 or day 2 when he was in 150, and then he came out and got out. He wasn't able to get his 200. So from there, a journey. Then in ODIs also, I feel almost all the time he got overshadowed by Virat and Rohit. But the people the reason that Rohit and Virat have become what they have become today, I feel a very big reason for that, and the base of that foundation of both of them becoming what they have become, I think, was Shikhar Dhawan, because the kind of start he gave, both Shikhar and Rohit sort of complemented each other a lot. And also one more thing that when we talk about players' greatness and all the things, something I really look forward to is that what is their impact on days that it matters the most. The way he sort of ran through the Champions Trophy, the way he sort of just made India win comfortably that Champions Trophy, I think that you knew that there were many big things to come. Then you just saw him doing really well all throughout in all big occasions. There were many times he did not score runs. Many times he was out of form. There were questions on him, and that was also because he was sort of being looked at with a Rohit and Virat Kohli. They have become, it was really tough for him to sort of be in that comparison. He was always in that comparison, and maybe that's why also he was the first one to be dropped out of the 3 and first one to sort of retire out of the 3. But then moving ahead, I think the base that Rohit and Virat got, it was because of Shikhar Dhawan. So I think a huge role from him in Indian cricket.
I would say, he is been the stalwart that we all desired. Flying under the shadow, if you're flying under the wing, what a very vital part. Because yes, Test matches he did underwhelm. I mean, in barring in the other C countries, South Africa, England, Australia. Australia, he got injured in that Brisbane test, so that's why he did an 81 though in that. New Zealand, he did well. But South Africa and England are the only two places which will haunt him because he didn't do well there. But as far as Shikhar Dhawan in ODI cricket is concerned, one of the key reasons along with Rohit and Virat that their 6-year dominance was there. And he was Mr. ICC for a very specific reason. I mean, Shivan, there is a data that we have got on ICC. Yeah. I called him Mr. ICC in one of the videos that I did after Shikhar Dhawan retired. Because as you mentioned, 13, 15, 17. India were always there. I mean, 13 final, 15 semi-final, 17 final. Everything had to do with Shikhar Dhawan. And you want to say Champions Trophy, I would say rename it to the Dhawan Trophy. Because his dominance in 2 Champions Trophies made him, and he continued the legacy where India were always boosted by left-handers doing well in ICC events. Look back before Dhawan, there was a Yuvraj Singh. Look back prior to that, it was Gautam Gambhir, Yuvraj, Gambhir and Shikhar Dhawan. 2 from Delhi, 1 from Punjab. Carried India's legacy in a big way. And look at it, 20 games. Now this is man for ICC events. I'm talking about his World Cup and Champions Trophy. This is the record that is there for World Cup and Champions Trophy, not the T20I. Okay.
Yeah.
20 matches, 1,238 runs, 65 average and strike rate of 98.
Almost 100.
Almost one fifth of his runs are in ICC tournaments. ODI runs.
600s, 450s. It is the same in test matches, 550s, 700s. So whenever the one trend that we established with Shikhar Dhawan is that whenever he scored big.
Yeah.
And a 50 he would capitalize onto something else. And I remember Shikhar Dhawan for the impact that he had on Australia. You look at the Mohali 100 of 85, 187, very unlucky to not get a double 100.
Yeah.
That left an impression. And boss, Australia were trying to come back. They just couldn't under Dhawan's onslaught. 33 fours and 2 sixes if I'm not mistaken in that knock. So nearly 144 or 187 came only in boundaries.
And he had that typical that Delhi touch in him of batting also. You know, he sort of gave you the shades of Virat, Sehwag, Gambhir. Yeah. And then you sort of saw Rishabh Pant also.
Somewhat Mithun Manas also.
Yeah. He had that straight back. He was more of a punch player, you know, who on the rise sort of a player. So he gave that Delhi touch also. That was, you wanted some, he was sort of filling Sehwag's shoes also. For a very long time, you had that vacuum in there. Yep. So he sort of was the perfect replacement in that sense for Sehwag. Not the same impact and not the same numbers. But
but again, see, 2013 leading run scorer helped India win the Champions Trophy. Look at 2015, 200s, one against Ireland, but I hold that 100 against South Africa in Melbourne as peak. Mockle, Steyn, Philander.
Yeah. And that 100 was one of the major reasons why India broke that South Africa jinx.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
137 along with Ajinkya Rahane 70 if I'm not mistaken.
No, I think even Ajinkya Rahane got 100.
No, he scored a 60 or 70.
He got 100 in the next game.
Ajinkya Rahane got around 79 out of 60
Correct, yeah. Yes. So that is why Dhawan, and even 2017 until the semi-final, he was scoring runs for fun.
Even 19 he got injured, otherwise so he was...
The one before he got injured, that 100 against Australia.
Exactly.
That is why Shikhar Dhawan for me, this is where I look beyond the numbers.
Exactly.
His impact against Australia, I think out of all his 1700s, I think he has 4 or 5 against Australia, if I'm not mistaken. The best team still at that point. ICC events, always the king when you look at it. And when he did well, India would do well. And when India didn't do well, say for example in 2017 in the final, he was the last to be dismissed along with the Kohli-Rohit duo at that point. Kohli-Rohit fell cheaply. Dhawan 21, but he fell to Mohammad Ahmed.
And 2015 semi-final, he got out early.
Not really. He was the one who was batting very aggressively.
But for how much did he get out?
I think he made a 40 odd if I'm not mistaken. 13 overs, India had reached to 76.
Yeah, he
took a good catch from Maxwell in Sydney to ensure that the run chase would be. Yeah.
Dhawan got out by Haddon.
No.
It was caught behind 100%.
150%. I raised the
statement. You can check, Shivam.
He danced down the track to Hazelwood, sliced it to
but it was Haddon, na?
Maxwell.
Oh man. Yeah.
I guarantee you
first wicket to
2015 semi-final.
India-Australia
semi-final. He was the first wicket to fall. That I remember.
After that,
danced down to Haddon.
It danced down to Hazelwood.
And I think it was Brad Haddon who took that catch.
Maxwell.
Okay.
We'll just
Maxwell
come
took
to
the
know in a
catch.
second.
I am telling you, it was a match which we all saw very carefully. 329, they were chasing India.
Kohli
Dhawan
knocked
had
edge.
given, that hadn't took off Johnson.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, then
yeah.
Rohit Sharma and
In-swinger.
dragged it back onto the stumps. Rahane also fell to a edge. Jadeja, I think, was run out. Dhoni was run out. And that's where you lost it. But Dhawan...
Kedar Jadhav was also playing there.
No, 2015, no Kedar.
No, he was in 19, sorry.
19,
He was 19.
I'm telling you, Shikhar Dhawan is Mr. ICC for me.
Yeah, he is.
Exactly. Maxwell.
Oh, man.
You can never beat Sidney, sir.
So, look at it.
No, I will.
45 runs.
Yeah, 45.
45, yeah.
If you look at it, Dhawan, Mr. ICC, Impact versus Australia, he was the core. If he was the ice in the Indian team, Rohit was the fire. Fire and ice. And look at the combination. I mean, let's look at the... Yeah. Warning shot. You have been warned, Mr. Gulati. You have been warned. Can we now... there is one more reason why I want to sum up Dhawan's impact. I mean, there is this graphic we have shown of the openers. Not this, the other one, the duo, best duo if you look at it. Go back.
I think this.
Nah, okay, I'll just go back into that. Yes.
I think he and Rohit are the second best duo.
Yeah. Go to the openers. Main. This one. Okay. This I am talking about test opening. Okay.
Yeah.
Third best. Now remember in the headline, please don't say, oh, why we have omitted Gavaskar and Sehwag. There is no question that they were our top two openers in Indian history.
True.
Let us make no mistake about it. Gavaskar is miles ahead. Sunil Gavaskar is miles ahead of the lot. And if you look at it, even Virender Sehwag is miles ahead of it. Okay. Now you said about test, right? But if you look at that entire list, okay, Gautam Gambhir leads the charts with 4,119 runs. But you also know that he had his problems. He did well in New Zealand, same thing. South Africa, he had an okayish average. England, he was woeful. Australia, he was also not that good. Murli Vijay. Now, Vijay is the antithesis to everybody. He was great in England, great in Australia, great, you may say decent in South Africa. He struggled in New Zealand.
Yes.
Jot Singh Sidhu. But the one thing that will go against Sidhu is that he never played that much in the Sena countries that often.
Yeah.
Australia, he struggled a bit. England, very okayish average. He got most of his runs in subcontinental conditions mostly. And he had a very fearsome West Indies attack to look forward to. Rohit, man, after a slow start to his test career, what a resurgence he's had.
Now, yes.
KL Rahul, but Rahul also, if you look at it, struggles in some Sena countries.
Oh, this is KL Rahul?
Yeah, not Rahul Dravid.
thought
KL
it was
Rahul. I would have said Dravid
Dravid.
then. Okay. Shikhar D. Now, okay. As I had mentioned, New Zealand he did well. Australia he did okay. South Africa and England he struggled. In your opinion, I say that he's probably a close third. When I look at it, there is one more contender who I'd like to say was a close third. When you look at all conditions, I'm not talking about only...
So first and second are?
Sunil Gavaskar and
so it's
Virender
about the
Sehwag.
third, yeah.
It's only the third. That's why I mentioned third best test opener for India. There is no doubt about it that in our Indian ethos, Sunil Gavaskar and Virender Sehwag are the greatest openers. 1 and 2. Who is the third? According to you, looking at the list, for me, Dhawan is a close third. He's tied with one more. I'll tell you about that later. But according to you, Sid, do you think Dhawan is there to be considered as a good test opener, considering all circumstances and situations and with the sample size that we've got?
I think one of the things that we established about Dhawan towards the when he basically got into the test arena was that he did struggle against the moving ball, and that was very visible in the England and South Africa conditions also. Right. In Australia also he was really troubled by the I would say the bouncing ball, but overall why India specifically wanted to prefer a certain Rohit Sharma or a Murli Vijay, or for that matter even KL Rahul when he made his debut during that Australia tour, was because they were technically more sound than Dhawan, who was getting out to those rash shots or playing some of those uneven shots at a time when it should not have been played. So that's where I think if there has to be a discussion about whether Dhawan really ranks in that list, whether he's really one of the third best openers for India. I think that it's with all due respect, to be very honest, he did have a great he did have a great impact in the subcontinent conditions, but overall I think that there are better contenders than him. And when I say there are better contenders, I'm actually talking about a certain Rohit Sharma or a Murli Vijay for that matter, because the kind of impact that they had in overseas conditions, also in the Sena conditions, I think it was much more I would say impactful than Shikhar Dhawan.
What about you?
I think, see, why I would not include Rohit Sharma in this right now, because I feel he's still going to play a little bit, so I still wouldn't term him as the third best third best opener at this point of time. But for me, Shikhar Dhawan, the only person who comes close is Murli Vijay. But why I would still go with Shikhar Dhawan is because of the impact he gave. A Shikhar Dhawan, till the time a Shikhar Dhawan is batting, the same thing that you say about Rishabh Pant, also the same thing about Shikhar Dhawan as it is, that you don't know what he's capable of and what impact can he leave on the other side. So for me, as of now, it would be Shikhar Dhawan till the time Rohit Sharma is playing, and then Rohit Sharma when he hangs his boots, it could be.
For me, Dhawan doesn't make it in the. I mean, it was a close one, but there is two more who are in that list.
Can you see that list once?
Yeah, that third best opener. Yeah. For me, it is a rather unpopular opinion, but I think it was Murli Vijay.
Yeah, definitely. That's what I said. Yeah.
Because Murli Vijay, for me, he showed up in tough conditions where you are not expected to win.
He showed up in South Africa, in Australia, and in England.
Yes. New Zealand, he didn't play much, so that's why Murli Vijay, if you look at it, very underrated. If you have to look at it, so if I have to look at third best opener, Dhawan unfortunately didn't have a good time in the Sena, whereas Vijay is an antithesis and all. He did well in the C countries. He didn't do well in N because he didn't, and South Africa also okay, moderate. But England and Australia is where he dominated, and that is why I would say Murli Vijay is my third best test opener as you look at it.
Not Gambhir?
Gambhir, I was very tempted, but I'll tell you why not Gambhir. Because
Gambhir specifically did not have any impact in Australian or England conditions for that matter. Gambhir was superb in New Zealand and South Africa. Like, he was literally superb. Because of him, India managed to save those important test matches in New Zealand and South Africa.
2009, the prime reason why you won that series
India batted for more than 2.5 days.
It was because of Gautam Gambhir. But he did not do well in England.
True.
England, he averaged, I think, under 10, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
And Australia also, he had a chance in 2011, but he didn't do well. So, which is why I think Gambhir unfortunately misses out for me. For me, Vijay, because he did well in the Sena countries. And also, if you look at it in Indian conditions also, he was pretty good at the top. So that's why Vijay is there as a third best opener. Gambhir, I know people will criticize me for it. Dhawan doesn't make it. Rohit, as I will agree with Shashwat in that, still a long way to go. But where I will put Shikhar Dhawan as one of the best is in ODI.
Hands down.
So in that graphic, as I had mentioned, 2013 and 2015, the Rohit Jodi, he and Rohit.
The best openers for India till now, for whom you, Sachin?
Do you think so? Now this is the debate. Are you going to put Rohit and Dhawan over a Ganguly Sachin?
No.
Then?
I'm just talking about not a duo. I'm asking one by one if you have to choose. Will he finish in your top 3?
Yes.
You can tell your top 3 also.
I mean, you want an opening duo, right?
No. Just openers. One individually.
No, then he doesn't make it. Because it's Sachin, Rohit and Gilchrist for me.
Absolutely.
No. Just Indian. So
Ganguly is third.
Yeah.
Ganguly. He had much more impact at that time. And see, now as far as opening duo is concerned, we have to look at 2 eras where India were luckily blessed with a great opening combination. Ganguly Sachin from late 90s onwards until first decade of 2000. Then from 2013 onwards till 2019, Shikhar Dhawan and Rohit Sharma. And look at it, most 100-run opening partnerships, second best only is Rohit and Dhawan, Ganguly Sachin. Hayden Gilchrist, Greenwich Haynes, yes, they have scored more runs, but the average also, look at it. 45. Yes, they have a far lesser average if you look at it. But for me, I'm willing to put Rohit and Dhawan right up there because of the sheer magnitude of the impact that they had.
True.
Especially Dhawan, if you look at it, because Rohit would steal the show.
It was the maximum of top three, like who were doing the bulk of the runs. I remember, Rohit Sharma saying this thing in one of the press conferences that अब हम run मार रहे हैं तो हम क्या करें, वैसा थोड़ी है कि हम out हो जाएंगे.
Yeah.
That was the thing with from 2013 until 2018. It was your top three that did bulk of the scoring.
I would say
actually.
19, even 19.
Even 19
Middle order was
also.
always a problem. Till 19 it was a problem.
It was a problem. So, Rohit and Dhawan, 5,148 runs, average of 45, 1,800 century partnerships. But the worst part is now, they will never play together again.
Yeah.
That's the worst thing.
No, but for me, I'll still keep Ganguly and Sachin above that only because in Rohit and Dhawan scenario, firstly, the Ganguly Sachin numbers are of course more than Rohit Dhawan, and also why we feel that the impact of Rohit and Shikhar Dhawan was so much is also a big factor is Virat Kohli also in that. Yeah. So that's why I would still go with Ganguly and Sachin because at that point it was just the two of them.
What do you think?
I think I would definitely keep Rohit Dhawan because of the point that you
Above
also mentioned.
Ganguly Sachin.
No, not really there, but obviously if I have to pick Dhawan as one of my top three openers or not, I don't think he maybe features there because there I would have a certain Sachin, Ganguly and a Sehwag for that matter. But in terms of I think an opening combination, see I've seen both like Ganguly and Sachin also. And when they used to maybe claw India out of those difficult situations, in case of Rohit Dhawan also. But I think in terms of the conditions that both Ganguly and Sachin played, which were obviously never those flat tracks or never those conditions wherein they are getting those batting friendly conditions, because earlier in the times of early 2000s the conditions used to be a little tough at that time, and that's where I think Ganguly and Sachin had a bigger impact, to be very honest. I'm not saying that Rohit and Dhawan most of the times they got any of the tough pitches, but at the very same time when Rohit, Dhawan and all they faced the likes of Australia, South Africa and all, their bowling attacks weren't as potent as they were when Ganguly and Sachin were there. South Africa had the likes of Antony, Pollock, Dale Steyn for that matter, Donald, okay, Charles Langeveld for that matter. Then you have England. England also had a good bowling lineup in Darren Gough, Andrew Caddick. You had Alan Mullally, Andrew Flintoff. Then I think for Australia, Glenn McGrath, Andy Bickle, Brett Lee, Kasperwick. So it's about the conditions and the bowling lineups that you faced. Just from that perspective, and obviously I've witnessed those conditions personally also, I would keep Ganguly and Sachin above Rohit and Dhawan.
Of course. I mean, Rohit, Dhawan are there as one of your best openers in the era that they were.
Absolutely.
I mean, you look at the 2013 to 2019 era, I would say that Rohit and Dhawan were miles ahead of the competition. And the bowling attacks, the conditions also became flattened, it eased out a bit, and that's why they dominated for those 6 years.
It's not their fault that the conditions eased out. It's just that, the conditions where Ganguly and Sachin played, they were relatively difficult as compared to when Rohit and Dhawan played, and that's where the bowling attacks you also faced, they were more potent in comparison to the bowling attacks that the likes of England, Australia, South Africa had in 2015.
So the common consensus that we have got so far is that he doesn't feature in our third best openers list.
Yeah.
Because in Test cricket. Because primarily for the fact that there are other major contenders who did well in all the
and not even in ODIs, no?
ODIs, I have put him there as one of the best impact players.
In duos, na?
A duo, I'm saying, okay, they're right up there.
Yeah, no, but individually, but not in the top three.
Individually, not in the top
Not
three.
in the top three. That's
not
definitely in the
not
top five. Definitely in the top five, but not in top three. Yeah.
So that is the current situation that I've got. So looking at it, Dhawan, Rohit as a combination, especially Shikhar Dhawan. Now I have also dug out data over ODI numbers also.
Yeah.
ODI plus T20I. There is one more graphic also, ODI plus T20I also. If you look at it, yeah. So after this, yeah.
One more.
Go ahead, yeah. Ahead.
Yeah.
This is the one. This is the one. Okay. Now, if you look at it, IND openers I have given an ODI plus T20I, which is white ball cricket.
See, in case of Sachin, Ganguly, I don't think that they probably feature in this comparison because Ganguly never played a T20 international.
Sachin played one.
Only one. That
but
was
they
against
played
South
more
Africa.
ODIs.
Yeah.
So that is why if you look at it, they played far more ODIs. Rohit and Dhawan, if I'm looking at it, is a mixture of both ODI and T20.
Absolutely.
Okay? So, Sehwag, look at it. They are sandwiched between a Sehwag. So, we all seen a Virender Sehwag, what impact he had, and all this in white ball cricket. But if you look at it, Dhawan and Rohit actually trump him in a big way.
True.
So, average of 46, average of 39, sure, Rohit is just behind Sachin. Ganguly is there amongst the lot also. So, third best average. Number of centuries, if you look at it, wow, 19, 45, 34, 14, 17. It is truly, this is all opening, okay?
Yeah.
Rohit has gotten more hundreds, but then...
No, it's opening.
Yeah, 500s, 29 as an opener in ODIs and 5 in T20Is. So, but Dhawan, all 17 have come as an opener in ODIs, not in T20Is. So, for me, Dhawan in white ball was not underwhelming. I would say he had impact. So, are we on a common consensus that is it underwhelming for you as far as white ball is concerned? Or do you think he had achieved far more?
No, not far more, definitely. Underwhelming, I don't know. It's hard to say because again, underwhelming can be subjective also then. Underwhelming in terms of numbers or underwhelming in terms of
underwhelming in terms of numbers. Numbers I'm saying.
See, I think Dhawan could have definitely achieved more. What didn't really help his cause towards the end of his career was that he didn't play too much cricket.
Yeah.
See, he wasn't any which ways a part of the Test and the T20I team, was playing just one format for India, was even captaining them at that time because ODI cricket wasn't really a priority because Test and T20Is had taken the precedence because of the World Test Championship final and T20 World Cups. In case of Dhawan, what I think hurt him was that he didn't play too much domestic cricket to stay, I think, in form for ODI cricket. He had done nothing wrong to be dropped from the ODI team. It was just that Shubman Gill had exceeded expectations and that's why he was preferred during the World Cup year in 2023. In case of Dhawan, maybe, just maybe had he played more, domestic cricket or maybe put on those fiery performances in IPL, things could have been different. He could have played the 2023 World Cup and that's where I feel that maybe in the last couple of years, Dhawan underachieved a bit in ODIs.
No, I think that was his own choice. He also talked about this fact that even I being a selector, if I would have been, I also would have picked up Shubman Gill in place of me
I know.
And not playing domestic cricket. Also, I still remember when he was dropped from Test also, at that time also there was a lot of chatter that he should be playing domestic cricket. But I think by then he had made his choice that he himself doesn't want to play red ball cricket. Yeah, he did not come out and say that and open, but I think it was pretty clear he doesn't want to. Otherwise, he would have been playing domestic cricket. For ODI cricket also, I feel he knew that it's the end of the road and he happily sort of went. He never left on bad terms with the team also.
My problem is, see, Dhawan, what was the last major knock that you can remember? I remember the 117 versus Australia.
2019.
Oval.
Yeah, same.
He got injured. But then what happened after that? The others came up and Dhawan really didn't get a good run because now he was only going to play ODIs.
Exactly.
And India didn't play that many ODIs in that period after COVID because it was a T20 year. 2 years of T20 World Cup.
He captained the last time he played ODIs.
Yeah. And if you look at it, 2 T20 World Cups here back to back ensured that Dhawan ran out of time.
Exactly.
That's why not many ODIs, too few ODIs, and because of that he was not picked in the 2023 ODI World Cup.
And I think he understood that, and that's why never have we heard from him actually sort of blaming anyone for what happened.
He is one of those rare cricketers who doesn't blame anything on the situation.
You said underwhelming in the IPL, but look at his IPL numbers. This is the other graphic that
he's the second highest run scorer in IPL.
Second highest run scorer. I think
one of the oldest players of the IPL. He was, I think, a part of the Delhi Daredevils' core of the top 3. When
wasn't he part of Mumbai Indians?
He was first Delhi, then Mumbai. Then
Sunrisers.
Then Sunrisers. Then he came back to Delhi also.
Yeah, and then Punjab Kings. It's where in Delhi Capitals where he had
great run.
2 back-to-back centuries in 2020.
The COVID season.
You were saying that he underwhelmed, but he actually got better if you look at it towards the fag end. Yes, he did not play
too much cricket. That is my point. I think that's where That's what really hurt him. You know, see, we have discussed this thing quite a few times also, that when you cross 30, your reflexes usually get slow. And that's where I think you really had to rely on a lot more practice or a lot more agility or a lot more form. And how does it usually happens? It not just only happens through practice, it happens through playing those matches also. And that's where I think the game time for Dhawan was significantly reduced. And obviously going by what has happened, it was primarily his choice only.
But do you think, okay, this is the last question that I'll ask before we take some comments. Do you think that his announcement was very hasty? Because we have seen older players play the IPL. I mean, there is MS Dhoni who's playing until 43. There are others who played until 40 odd and all that. Why could he have lasted for 2 to 3 years more in the IPL? Why did he have to say, announce my retirement from all forms? Do you think he saw the writing on the wall that yes, no franchises would take him in this mega auction? Or do you think that maybe he was not going to be picked anyways because he got injured in the last season for Punjab Kings and he didn't play, I think 7 games, he didn't play 7 or 8 games.
He didn't play, we never saw him after a couple of games.
He got injured in Mullapur, and that is why I think if you look at it, can you honestly say, did he announce his retirement in haste? Especially considering he could have given a lot more in the IPL.
No, he could definitely have given a lot more in the IPL, but I think he knew that he's not going to be the first choice pick. Just imagine a Shikhar Dhawan coming in the IPL and then sort of, not being picked by any franchise. That would have been really, really sad to watch. Yeah. And I think he sort of knew that himself. Any team wouldn't invest in. Now, Shikhar Dhawan isn't somebody who would like come in the IPL and say, come at a base price of, 20 lakh or 50 lakh or 1 crore, at least 2 crores. And how will teams sort of give that much in a player like Shikhar Dhawan, who you never know how many years is he going to play. You don't even know that are they going to be 5 retentions or 3 or 4, whatever it is. So I think he knew it. The last time we saw him in the IPL, I think that was the last we saw of Shikhar Dhawan.
Okay. I think one thing that he was pretty much sure of was that he would definitely not be retained by Punjab Kings. That was definitely not happening. And primarily that would have been on the account of the history that the franchise has in the Indian Premier League. That was, I think, definitely one of the reasons. But then whether he would have been picked by any of the franchise had he opted not to retire, I think he would have been on the radar of someone like a Chennai Super Kings. I was about to say this thing. Chennai Super Kings or maybe for that matter even a Lucknow Super Giants also for that matter. So that wouldn't
but as a first choice opener.
Yeah, Shivam just laughed while looking at me. What was the reason, Shivam?
Lucknow Super Giants.
Yeah.
No, so, as a first choice opener.
No, I'm saying maybe one of the opening options. Or, Dhawan's experience
maybe
is such
he's not somebody who maybe he knew that. Again, I totally agree with you that he would have been gotten picked by any team. Any team would have. CSK, but again, it would not have been as a first choice opener, and I think that is not something Shikhar himself wanted.
True.
And I think that's why also, even you've seen it since the very beginning, as soon as he knows it's time, there are signs, he sort of doesn't push, sort of tries to push things. You saw him when he left Test also in that sense, and now I think the same in the IPL also. He would have been picked, then would have been benched a few times, and all of that things I think he did not want. He knew that not on a high, but yeah, he is definitely not living on a low.
Okay.
I think, the writing was on the wall.
Yeah.
38 years as an opener, and there are other people who are growing as an opener. I think he would have been unpicked. He would have not been picked in the auction anyways. And as you rightly said, Punjab Kings, the moment
they would have definitely not retained him.
No, the moment he signed on the franchisee, the death knell was there.
Yeah.
Because that franchisee hardly retains people. They totally destroy the castle and then want to build something new. And again, that castle will be in the air if they want to. I think it was sort of 9.25 crores, if I'm not mistaken, Shikhar Dhawan?
About 7.25.
7.25.
Yeah.
So 7.25 crores Shikhar D was bought about. So yes, a sad end if you have to look at it when it comes to IPL. Yes, at least he's won one title. Sunrisers Hyderabad. What a jodi he had with David Warner.
And he's won an ICC trophy also.
Yeah, he won 2013. He's won. See, when he scored over 500 runs, let's just end the consensus before we get it. When he scored 500 runs in an under-19 World Cup of 2004, he felt that he is a special talent.
Yeah.
But for that kind of achievements, okay, underrated career, okay, underrated or underwhelm? What is the concerns that you got? Underrated or underwhelmed?
Underwhelmed, but that too only because by the numbers.
Underrated in ODIs, underwhelming in test matches.
Just
One.
overall career.
Overall.
He said you're underrated.
Underrated and yeah, just underrated.
Just underrated. What about you?
You know, I'm not sure whether I should be saying this, because sometimes even I also feel that it's difficult to comment on such things. But yeah, it was a career that desired a lot more. That this could have, this more could have happened, this could have happened. I always wanted Dhawan to be a part of the ODI World Cup for 2023. I always wanted that to happen. But I think, if I have to sum it up, it will be underwhelming.
So, underrated, underwhelming. It's underrated.
Oh.
It's very underrated because we don't realize the fact that yes, India's decentish run, when you look at ICC events, Dhawan had a major part in it.
Yeah.
2013, 15, 17, 19.
That's format specific. In ODIs, definitely it's underrated. But then you look at the other two formats.
He had an impact even in Test cricket also,
Yeah,
although not at a consistent level.
Yeah, that's the point.
But then if you look at T20, I see the era that he started and the era that we are having now is totally different. 2018, he was your leading run getter.
Yeah.
In a calendar year in T20Is, that's not something that you associate with Shikhar Dhawan.
Yeah.
So for me, it is very underrated. I think Dhawan's not going to get his due when we look at the broad numbers. I am not looking at the numbers alone. I am looking at impact. For me, the greatest knock in this decade, if you have to look at by a test opener, Dhawan's 187 features right up there.
Hands down.
ICC master, he's right up there. But he'll be very underrated for the simple fact that numbers don't back him.
Yeah.
So, for me and most of the team here, with the exception of Sid, I think it's underrated. Shivam, what do you think? Underwhelming or underrated? So it is underrated for you, not underwhelming. So
because
yes,
as a test cricketer, I always wanted more of him, because I always thought that he would be the ideal replacement for someone like a Virender Sehwag in Sena conditions. Because you just go out there, play your shots. Murli Vijay was more of an opener who would hold one end, and then he would play shots as and when the time arises.
Even Viru had a very mixed Sena record.
Yes.
Australia, he had decent success.
Never did well in England and New Zealand.
Shikhar had a decent decision in Australia.
He had a decent. That's what.
But Sehwag was a beast in white ball in New Zealand. He was a beast there.
Australia, he was decent. England and New Zealand, he floundered. Although in England, he does have that 100 and Trent bridge.
Sehwag was actually brilliant in Australia, except that 2011-2012 tour.
Yeah.
He was brilliant in
That's
Australia.
the thing. So,
yes.
Dhawan, Australia, if you look at it, okay. England bad, South Africa bad, but New Zealand good.
New Zealand good, yeah. Two matches.
That's why I think the majority consensus here is Dhawan's career was very underrated. The numbers will not back it, but yes, it is definitely not underwhelming. That much we would say. He was. So that's what most of our family members are saying at this point. Ashish Dhar is saying, nice guy who conducted himself well on and off the field despite circumstances. Never showed attitude. India will miss him as a great white ball player. Hands down. He was one of the best if you look at it. Mr. Shikhar GTN is saying, good morning, off topic. Even though it was Pakistan who have been bad at home and BCCI's horror show in Sri Lanka, Chennai Test versus Bangladesh shouldn't be a minefield.
We're talking about that.
Although in Chennai, it's changed at this point in time.
So no, just in the IPL, I think.
I'm just saying that only. So, Dhanush is saying, Dhawan underrated in ODIs, but
exactly my point. Exactly my point.
Rakesh Bhushan is saying, Sachin, Saurav, Rohit, Dhawan, Sehwag are the top 5 white ball openers. Rank them in order of impact. Oh, do you think of any other Indian white ball opener in this category? Rank them. For me, my ranking is simple. Sachin, Rohit, Sehwag, Saurav, Dhawan.
So I would have Sachin, Rohit, Dhawan, Saurav, Sehwag.
Sehwag as a test opener was legendary.
I'd go with Sachin, Rohit, Sehwag, Ganguly, Dhawan.
Sehwag, Ganguly, Dhawan. Not bad. I mean, Ganguly I know,
So
but
it's
then
basically, I had a toss up between Dhawan and Ganguly.
yeah. So I got the 3 right-handers as my top 3. The other 2 are my bottom 2. too in that sense. So yes, great stuff indeed. And yes, Dhawan will be there as one of your best openers.
Top 5 to definitely.
Definitely. So that's the thing.
Just a couple of more comments. The guys do a detailed preview of US Open. It's already done.
Done, yeah. Priyanshu is saying 2013-19 ODIs, Virat scored 30 tons, Rohit 26, Dhawan 17. Vijay will be the third best test opener.
Yeah.
Rohit needs to improve his Sena record. Sid VG, tell top 3 Indian batsmen with most Sena test ton. Is he talking about just openers, or I mean, there's Gavaskar, there is Sachin, and
there is KL Rahul also.
Not KL Rahul.
No, KL Rahul has gotten hundreds in England, South Africa, and Australia too.
Yeah.
He's gotten about 500s if I'm
there is
not wrong.
Dravid.
There's Dravid also.
Dravid has gotten 600s if I'm not mistaken in England.
Yeah.
He's got one in Australia, one in New Zealand, one in South Africa.
See, KL Rahul has gotten hundreds in South Africa, England and Australia for sure.
Yeah.
So I think.
See, Sachin definitely top.
Yeah.
Gavaskar definitely on top. But Gavaskar didn't play much in South Africa. He never played against South Africa.
So KL Rahul has a minimum of 400s in Sena, that is for sure. Definitely 2 in South Africa, 1 in Australia, that was way back in 2014-15. You had 1 in England also. So as far as centuries are there, 4 I can remember. I think there are more than 4 also.
Let's see, we'll check that out soon. Well, thanks Priyanshu. Yeah, you're right. I mean, I hope we are right with that top 3. We hope so. Because just from the top of our minds that we have done it.
Yes.
So that is the current situation that we have got. So Dhawan's career, very underrated, but yes, an ICC great, and we wish him all the best for the remainder of his whatever he chooses. So I think we'll see him in the Combox in this IPL. Let's see how that happens. Is he coming for a DPL?
No. But he's a co-owner.
Co-owner of which team?
Of the South Delhi.
Oh, South Delhi. He could have been a coach.
Shivam wants to say something.
Oh, he could have even played.
In Punjabi commentary like
Yeah. He would do well.
Aaj phatte chakle and there.
Yeah, he would do well. I think the way how he gave that speech on video, I think he's made for that. He's a very good speaker in that sense. So, yeah, let's see how that happens. So, from me, Sid Gulati and Shashwat, that is bye-bye. See you for yet another edition. Enjoy your Sunday evening at this point, and we shall too. And thank you. Bye-bye. Nandri, Vanakkam, Shubhratri, Shabba Khair. Eat your vegetables.
And don't trouble your mother.
Don't trouble your mother. Bye-bye.